Hello, my lovelies. So this week's Your Curiosities, a gentleman has written to me and asked me about self-pleasure, but the term he used was sacred masturbation. So I feel that masturbation is something that many of us have felt shame around. And it's really important that to understand that with all of Tantra, it is about how we approach all aspects of our life, all aspects of our body, of sex, of love, which changes our experience and also our intention. So we have been taught a lot about masturbation. We have ingrained shame around masturbation rather than allowing it to be a self-exploration, a curiosity about our body and how that works, and allowing sensations of pleasure for ourselves. We've also been taught that masturbation is something that we do to create a release, a response to stress, and so that we can release that build-up of tension or stress. We've also been taught to release our pleasure. So say we have that sensation of arousal, we have been taught to either shame it and suppress it, which keeps it very contained in our pelvic and our genital area, or we have been taught to hurry up and get rid of it. So we have a sensation of arousal and then we seek to masturbate, or we seek to have sex. Whereas that sensation can actually expand us and expand our capacity for pleasure, not just in sex, because Tantra isn't just about sex, but in all areas of our life and in our sensational field of our body. So in answer to the gentleman's curiosity about sacred masturbation, maybe it begins by seeing it as something sacred and really checking in with our individual intention and our individual approach. Maybe it's a possibility about our self-pleasure not being all friction-based, about it being a caress and soft and slow and honouring and devotional. Maybe it's about inviting that experience into our masturbation, our self-pleasure. Maybe it's about not having an intention. So we're not touching ourselves with an expectation or a goal to ejaculate or to have an orgasm or to have some kind of clitoral release. It's about exploring our capacity for pleasure. So often we fill up with pleasure, and then we come to this kind of wall, and then we either reach out to touch another, or we come to that space of orgasm or ejaculation. But even in pleasure, we come to this space and we want to get rid of it. We want to share it. And not just in sex, but in life, we want to share our pleasure. But then our capacity for pleasure doesn't expand, doesn't grow. So we can come to that wall and not ejaculate, not come to orgasm, and instead breathe and immerse into it as if we were sinking into this delicious hot bath, or just letting that breathe over us and noticing the yin of that, the non-activity. And then if you want to then return to pleasure and masturbation, then you can. But it's always about coming to that wall, that peak, and dropping back a little bit so that we can immerse into it and let that flood over us. And therefore our capacity for pleasure keeps expanding, and we expand as a person as well, because we're not suppressing that energy, that sexual energy, just to our pelvis, just to the act of sex. We're letting it flow through the whole of our being, and that may be used to support our health. It may be used to increase our vitality. It may expand our mind in a way that expands our consciousness about something, or about a belief, or just expands our sense of self. So sacred masturbation, it becomes sacred by changing our approach, changing our attitude, noticing when we are in self-pleasure, whether we are habitually being fast, habitually being friction-based, habitually having an intention, and letting go of that and exploring something else. If our masturbation always has an intention, it's the same with anything in life. If our approach to something always has an intention, always has a pre-designed idea of how that's going to be, how that's going to feel, what we want out of it, then that's like always having chocolate ice cream and never knowing strawberry, the taste of strawberry, banana or vanilla. We know they exist, but we don't know how that tastes. So to truly know ourselves is about diving into and being curious and playing with the other aspects of touch, pleasure, slowing down, allowing ourselves to come to that peak and be in it rather than getting rid of it. So I hope that answers your curiosity, and I would love to hear some more curiosities, particularly about Tantra as a lifestyle, and maybe together we can let go of this idea that Tantra is all about sex, because I can assure you it isn't. It's about our life, our approach to life, body, sex, and love.